Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair. The last one to know, the last one to show, I was the last one you thought you'd see there.
What's going on, vapors? Vaping Cowboy here. Today we're going to do another review. This time we're going to be doing a review on a 26650 mod, a mechanical mod. This is my first, and it is called the Tree of Life. Now, a little bit of story on this is that I've been looking around for a while. Didn't want to pay too much for one, you know, if eventually I would have got one. But I've just been waiting around. I was checking out on eBay, and I found a seller selling this, and it was an auction style seller for this Tree of Life mechanical mod. And it when I first was watching it, it was around like $8-9. So I figured I'd watch it, and in the end I ended up paying with shipping for this mechanical mod. I only paid $19.50 for it. So I really can't complain about that. I mean, a really good deal in my personal opinion. So let's go up close. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll come back out, vape on it, tell you my thoughts. And just so you know, I did my my unboxing ahead of time. I've actually used this for a little over a week now, and yeah, we'll just go from there, and then I'll let you know what I think about it. What's going on, vapors? Vaping Cowboy with up close review, unboxing of the Tree of Life clone. This is a 26650 mod, mechanical mod. So let's just unbox it and see what we got going on. There she is. We got just a mod right here. It's pretty big too, 26650. This will be my first. So pretty excited about this. So right here you got the design of the Tree of Life. If you don't know what the Tree of Life is, you should use Google. It's your friend. So we'll just set this down right now, and then nothing else in the box. You know, it's just a generic, just a nice generic little box. There's electronic cigarette mod on there, and then Tree of Life on there. Other than that, there is nothing left in this box. But what we're after right here is this Tree of Life mod. So it's just your standard mechanical tube mod. It's got your 510 threaded connection up here. You got the cutout engravings here for airflow, but most people that do use mechanical mods tend to use RDAs or RBAs, and you don't really need those cutouts because they got their own airflow channel in there. But they added it in case you do use a like a tank style or anything where the airflow can come in from the side and it comes from the bottom. I won't be using that because I use RDAs with the airflow on the device itself. So you got your reverse threaded locking ring here. And it's really smooth too. Really smooth. Now right here, this is your firing switch. It's got the EM logo on there and the USA. And you have, let's see, let's go over a little specifics. You have silver plated brass contacts. You have the adjustable positive contact. And this is a spring-loaded firing button with reverse threaded locking ring. And then you have your laser etched both on the button, bottom of the button, and on the tube itself. And then thing about venting is these holes down here in the switch. These are for your battery venting, and then you have your nice Delrin. That's what your battery sits on top. And then let's just take this switch apart here. I've heard a lot of good things about this. Figured I'd pick one up since I haven't had a 26650 mod yet. And then you have a heavy duty spring here. It's pretty it's a lot thicker than most that I've actually come across. Then you have your locking ring. And there it's the switch all disassembled. So then you'd put the smaller end down onto the bottom of the button. You know, if you take it apart to clean it and you don't know which way to put that on. I'm having a problem. Putting this back together. Of course, it'd probably help if I was going the right way, right? Okay. So now I've heard reports that with this spring, it takes a couple days for it to break in. It's going to be kind of tough. Some people don't like it. You know, as long as you can stand up. To have the tank up there, it's not going to fire. That's a nice thing about this thicker spring on this mechanical mod here. So now we'll take off this top part. Again, there's the connection. This one does have an insert here, and this screws out. I know some of them do not. Some other clones do not. I'm not sure about the authentic, if that comes out or not, but it's just threaded, and then you have your connection here. And I know that some of the other mods of the same Tree of Life mod, they actually have a spring here, and luckily this one does not have that, because you get a lot of loss of your voltage. You get a lot of voltage drop with those, but that's see if this comes out. It doesn't look like it comes out, but yeah, that's the top cap here with the silver plated brass contacts. Now we'll put this back together. See if I can get this right the first time. Unlike that, unlike the firing button. But yeah, it's pretty easy to take apart, to clean it up, and then here's just your tube. It's not extremely thick, but I mean it's pretty well made. The threads are just smooth. I mean, they're just buttery smooth, and that's pretty good for what these are going for. These clones are going for on this particular one. This one I actually picked up on eBay from a guy and his wife. They have a shop, and or I don't know if they have an actual shop or not, but it's a home-based business. He said they got 5 kids, and this is how they make their money to pay their bills, which is nice. And I'd like to, you know, I like to help people out when I can. So, yeah, that's the Tree of Life 26650 mod. They generally go for between, you know, you can get them on Fast Tech for like $22. I wouldn't recommend Fast Tech. Just personal preference. I wouldn't go with them anymore anyway. But yeah, well, I'm waiting for the batteries that just got into charge, and then I'll continue the review. I'll use it for a while, and then I'll do the full review, and then and we'll take some vapes on it, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts are with this whole mod. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we're back from the close-up now, and so that is the Tree of Life mechanical mod, the 26650 version. They do have the 18650, 18500, 18350 version, I do believe. I know the other one comes with a different set of tubes. So if you don't want to go with the 26650 aspect of it, they do have the smaller version out there, and that one was out before the 26650 version. So I mean, after using this for a while, I do like it. I mean, you got the locking ring, it's nice and smooth, hasn't bound up on me, but personally, with the setup I have not ever had to use the locking ring. You can just set that down, it's not going to fire because of this spring, this tough spring. And it did take a little bit for it to break in, but it's still kind of tough. I mean, I can fire it with my pinky if I need to, but it gets a little bit awkward because you got to put a lot of pressure on it. So if you're one of those people that would rather have a smoother action and not have to push real hard on it, then this mod might not be for you. But again, you know, that's all personal preference. I do have to say that there is a con that I have come across since I've used this. Now, besides the buttery smooth threads, it's, you know, and I got the MNKE 50 amp batteries in here, and the one thing I do have to say that is a con on this, and you know, some people it's not going to matter. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter that much to me either, but it's got to be stated, is that with this all the way down with my RDA on there, I still have a little gap on here. Now, if we'll take this top cap off, and I'll show you that one thing I didn't show in the review is that here, we'll take this down. This can push all the way back in. That way, when you tighten this down, it's going to push your 510 connection down, and then depending on how far your threads are on your RDA or your tank or whatever you're going to use on there, then you would just have to adjust this bottom screw for the battery rattle / contact. But I've not had to pull that down. But this one is a little bit long on there, and I have everything all snugged up as tight as they'll go too. But you know, there's just a little gap in there. You know, that's a con, especially if you're someone that's looking for something that looks just streamlined, straight, no gaps, nothing. That's a con. Another con I did come across is that when you push the fire button, it takes about half a second to a second for it to engage and starting to heat those coils up. So that is another con. Now I know it's not a copper mod. If it was a copper mod, I don't think it would have that same problem. I know with my Overdose, my 18650 version of that one fires right away. So you know, that could be considered a con. I guess it doesn't really matter to me because I've just adjusted to it where I'll hit the button, and then by the time I bring it up to take my toot or my vape, whichever you prefer, it'll already be starting to engage as soon as it hits my lips. So yeah, that's the 26650 of the Tree of Life mechanical mod. Would I recommend this to people? If you're looking for your first 26650 and you're really not into the copper, yeah, sure. But you just got to be forewarned about that tough spring on the bottom. Now, for someone with me with some big hands, I guess it's really not that issue. But if you got someone that's has like smaller hands, it might be a two-hand operation. So that's just something you're going to have to take into account when you're deciding on getting this device itself. But yeah, I would give this, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being outstanding and 1 being absolutely crap. I would probably give this about a 7.5, 8. That's, you know, that's just my, you know, I don't, you know, if this gap down here was a little bit bigger, I wouldn't like it as much as I do. You know, I do like stuff that looks nice, but you know, no one's really gonna notice with it just sitting there. I mean, it's that's small of a gap. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could shave down like a firing pin or something, and then it would snug right up. But you know, that's just my experience. It could be just the MNKE battery as well. You know, if you went with a Sony or a Panasonic or whatever other battery that you want to use out there, it might snug up a little. It might snug up perfect. But as far as right now, the MNKE, there is that little gap. So just so you're well aware of that. But yeah, I would recommend this. I'd recommend this to my friends if they were looking for a 26650 mod. As stated, this is my first, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to come as well after this. But yeah, I couldn't beat the price for $19.50 with shipping to arrive. And person I bought it from, I mean, it was here within about 2 days. The only downside to that is I had to wait for the batteries to come in, so because I didn't have any batteries. No sense in buying the batteries if you don't have the mod. At least that's my thoughts on it. So this is the Vaping Cowboy Tree of Life 26650 mechanical mod. Just make sure you guys are vaping hard, my friends, and we'll see you again.
'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey